Silas Crowley has spent years alone on the edge of the Wild West, nursing a heartbreak so deep it turned his ranch into a prison of silence. But everything changes the moment Mae Archer, a towering, fearless widow with nowhere left to go, steps onto his land and looks him straight in the eye. Her bold honesty startles him, her strength unsettles him, and her presence awakens something he thought had died. When she asks for comfort he's too broken to give, Silas panics, but what he does next shocks the entire town and gives both of them a final chance at real, lasting love. The Wild West was a wide, merciless place, miles of dust, wind, and silence broken only by the creak of saddle leather or the lonely cry of a hawk circling overhead. On the far edge of that endless land lived Silas Crowley, a rancher known for two things, his skill with horses and the heartbreak that never loosened its grip on him. Once, he had been a man who laughed easily. Once, he had loved. But grief had a way of shrinking a man's world until nothing remained but chores, fences, and memories that clung like burrs. For years he kept to himself, speaking more to his cattle than to people, convincing himself that solitude was a choice rather than a shield. Then, one late autumn evening, as thunder rolled over the plains, someone stepped onto his land, someone who changed everything. Her name was Mae Archer, a widow whose size and presence startled even Silas. She stood nearly as tall as he did, broad-shouldered and strong from years of farm work. But it was her eyes, steady, dark, honest, that made Silas forget how to breathe. She carried only a small travel trunk and a long coat dusted from miles of walking. "You're trespassing," Silas called out, more out of habit than anger. Mae didn't flinch. She simply looked him straight in the eye, her voice low but firm. "I need help. And before you say no, hear me out." Silas hesitated. People didn't just walk onto his land, especially not widows who looked like they could wrestle a bull and win. But something in her gaze held him there. "My husband died 6 months ago," she said. "I tried to keep our place running. Couldn't. Not alone. Now I need work, or a home. Maybe both." Silas felt something shift inside him, a crack in the wall he had built years ago. He cleared his throat, unsure what to do with this sudden disruption to his predictable world. Then she stepped closer, her expression turning earnest, and bold. "What I need most," she said, "is to feel human again. To feel wanted. I need to make love. Don't move." Silas froze. His heart thundered like a stampede. No woman had been that direct with him in his life. Panic surged through him, and he stumbled back, nearly tripping over a water bucket. I can't," he stammered, heat rising to his cheeks. "I'm not. I don't. Mae, I ain't touched romance since." He stopped, the past choking him. Mae's face softened instantly. "Silas. I wasn't trying to frighten you. I only meant I'm tired of feeling alone." Silas exhaled shakily. For the first time in years, he didn't run from the memory of what he had lost. Instead, he looked directly at the woman before him, strong, hurting, brave enough to say aloud the things most folks kept buried. "I can't give you that," he said gently. "Not yet. But I can give you a place to stay. Work if you want it. Food. Safety." So he offered her his spare room, something the whole town later whispered about, loudly and with enthusiasm. Some said Silas had lost his mind. Others said a man like him finally needed someone who could match him, step for step, heartbeat for heartbeat. But over the next weeks, something remarkable happened. Silas found himself talking again, really talking. Mae, with her surprising warmth and unshakable honesty, drew him out of his shell inch by inch. She mended fences beside him, laughed at his stiff attempts at conversation, and cooked meals that tasted of home. Slowly, he began to heal. Slowly, she did too. One snowy evening, as they stood watching the horses settle in for the night, Mae touched his hand. Silas didn't pull away this time. Instead, he covered her hand with his own, rough and warm. "You don't have to be afraid," she whispered. "I'm starting to think," Silas replied softly, "that maybe I ain't." Their love didn't erupt in a single moment. It grew, steady, patient, powerful, as they learned to trust the parts of themselves they thought were broken forever. And in the end, the Wild West no longer felt empty. It felt like home.